So next up, we have Travegali. So cue the video.
Travegali.com is an online platform specifically designed for accessible tourism. In the past 2 years, 26 million Americans with disabilities traveled in more than 73 million trips and spend more than $34 billion in travel and tourism. To give you an idea, it is the sum of the population of all these states. That's a lot of people, right? What happens when a person with reduced mobility tries to book a hotel room online? Even though they use accessible room filters, their searches only reveal standard room options. They are not able to view pictures of the accessible ready rooms or bathrooms. When they try to book a room, they cannot click on the accessible room option. 99% of hotel websites do not have the option of viewing the information for accessible rooms. Visitors to their website are not able to view images of the accessible rooms, and while browsing the options, they are not able to book the hotel's accessible rooms online. Can you imagine booking a hotel without being able to view the room or the hotel's amenities? Would you book your vacation without this basic information? In TravelGalley.com, on the other hand, the customer chooses the destination, chooses the hotel, and when clicking on a property, what they see first are the pictures of the accessible rooms and bathrooms, those amenities that are so important in their decision. If they like the hotel, they simply choose the dates, make sure the accessible room is available, click and book. It's that simple. At TravelGalley.com, they get to do what the rest of the world has been doing for the past 20 years. Over 50 hotel chains trust TravelGalley.com to offer their accessible rooms on our website. We translate the effort and investment made by hotels in accessible rooms and amenities into social and economic value. We have the necessary technology infrastructure to manage our hotel bookings online and integrate the main channel managers with dynamic content. We offer both consumers and hotel owners the agility and flexibility that the market demands. We are a reference in accessible tourism and invite you to join us and be part of our social impact and theory of change promoting inclusivity and equality in the hotel industry. Tourism's social corporate responsibility has never been as important as it is now. Join TravelGalley.com in our journey to build a better and more accessible world.
Okay, thank you for that. And so now introducing Rafael Blanco, CEO of Travegali. So over to you, judges.
Hello. Hello, Jake.
Yeah, that was great. Question about the video, because I don't see very well. I'm wondering what I missed. There was a one screen that said all these states. But I'm pretty well aware of the stats, so I don't need that specific information, but just suggest that you make the video more accessible to blind and low vision people.
That is absolutely correct. One of the things that we're doing while developing Travegali, just because from an investment point of view, obviously we're right now starting up the company and have scarce resources. So what we did was, as a strategy, we tried to focus our market. The idea is to provide a service, obviously, for all disabilities. But at this point in time, just as a business strategy, we thought that it would be more prudent to just focus our market not only in the disability issue that we were going to solve, but also on the market that we were going to tackle, and just try to get the KPIs in that sense. And once we create a bit of volume that we can expand the company and that we can receive the proper investment, then obviously expand to the rest of the disability issues and people with disabilities in general. So that's the issue, and I'm really sorry for that, to tell you the truth.
No, I think that's super smart from a business perspective to take a slice and get started, because it can be quite daunting.
Exactly.
So Raphael, how do hotels become part of the site? Because I do see, as I'm looking at your website, I mean, I see brands across Marriott, across Hilton, across other independents. So how does one join?
So what we do is that we don't have a direct relationship with hotels just because as you know, in Marriott, to do that, to have the connectivity directly from our site to the hotels, it's an issue. And many times big hotel chains simply don't have the resources to be able to connect with each individual service provider. So what we do is we have agreements with the big bed banks. So what we do, we receive all of the inventory, and then we source that inventory and we select those hotels that have the accessibility features that we feel can provide a proper service for our customers. So out of all of the hotels, probably 10 to 15% do have accessibility information in the web. So we select those and we put that on our website. So the idea with that, again, is since we're starting up, we want to start to provide the service, try to create demand, try to drive the sales. Now, once we start driving the sales, then we think we're going to be in a better position to go into a direct conversation with the hotel chains. One of the things that we see is that all of the hotel chains, and more in the United States and in Europe, that you have the proper legislation, you do have accessibility features, but you don't value it, you don't promote it by and large. So what we're trying to do is aggregate all of that inventory that right now is not properly used and drive the demand for the people that precisely need those hotel rooms. Right now, most of those hotel rooms are the overbookings of the hotels. We don't want that. We want those hotel rooms to be used by the people that need them. And that would obviously drive more demand to the hotel properties. That would also drive the prices up because you're going to have a higher occupancy and you're going to have happier customers because everybody's using the room that it was designed for.
Okay, thank you.
How old is the company, and how long have you been at this?
I've been at this a couple of years. Just to give you a rough idea, 3 years. I started 3 years ago. I come from the hotel business, so my first steps in the accessibility tourism market was really refurbishing my hotels. I have hotels in the Dominican Republic, Mexico, and in the Bahamas. So what I did was I realized that my own hotels were not properly designed for the accessibility market. So I did that investment. I built a new hotel, which I opened last year. And that hotel probably I am from the Dominican Republic, just for your information, just in case you didn't know. So I built a Hilton hotel, which I opened last year. It's probably the hotel with the best accessibility features in the country. And going into the hotel market, the next step for me was to create Travegali and really go in a global scale, not only in the hotel part, which obviously it demands a lot of resources, but go into the OTA market and just try to aggregate all of that inventory that's out there and try to promote it in a proper way. So that's how I shifted into Travegali. And we have only been open in the market for 2 months. So the thing that we were going to launch last year, then COVID came in, we had to stop everything, obviously stop everything market-wise, but we are continuing to integrate inventory. Right now we have 3,200 hotels in Europe, Canada, Latin America, the US, of course. 60% are located in the United States, but we're trying to have a global OTA that has inventory, just across the board.
Right. I'd like to ask you a question about that issue about granularity of the data. Just how fine information, how detailed information can the customer get about the accessibility? Because you made a point of saying it's difficult for people to book an accessible room. But since there isn't one definition of an accessible room, even with all the best will in the world with ADA and everything else, you're going to find variations. So how can people get that information? And how do you get 50 different hotel chains to get a common understanding of an accessible room?
Well, there is no common understanding, and that's precisely the problem. So what we're trying to do in Travegali is present the product as visually and and explain it as best we can, and then the customer can decide what product is the best fit for him. For example, there can be a customer that probably has mobility issues, but maybe he's not a wheelchair user. So there are certain products that can be okay for him. But for example, in access, a wheelchair user then needs, you know, a walk-in, a roll-in shower. And you know what we try to do is provide that information for the customers and let them make the decision.
Okay, so I have to just stop this. You know, we have to move on, but I have one more question. How many hotels do you have in the system now that have photographs?
3,200, 3,200, and we're adding 500 hotels per month. So the idea is to have it's all a matter of obviously of resources to create that content. It obviously costs money. So right now, with the resources that I can provide, we're getting at 500 hotels per month. But the idea is to end the year, you know, with at least 10,000 hotels. Okay. And right now, what we're trying to do is focusing in the U.S. market. Right now, because of COVID, the international travel market, obviously, it's a bit complicated to say the least. So what we're trying to do is focus on the U.S. market at the moment. Internal tourism, we feel it's gonna come back sooner than the international travel. So provide the product within the United States. Also, Travegali is a U.S. company, so it's based on Delaware, and so start with the U.S. and from then, after COVID starts, we have some more clarity with COVID, then start expanding into the international market with international travel. Ultimately, world domination, right? So that's the idea. So, all right. So if anyone wants to follow up, Rafael has a breakout room during the break and at the end of the day. Okay, Seren, you want to go ahead?
Super. Thank you so much, Rafael.